Hey folks, what's up? I'm doing this impromptu hangout right here to explain something. And here's what I want to explain. What is criticism? I think people who are decent individuals, people who are sound thinking individuals, reasonable individuals, understand the difference between honest, constructive criticism and just outright badgering people. You see, quite often when I come across atheists, they seem to confuse badgering folks for criticism. They seem to confuse people talking just bad about folks constantly as criticism. Now, what do I mean by this? I'm going to screen share exactly what I've been noticing. And I'm going to explain what is criticism and what is just outright just badgering people. There's a huge difference. I don't mind criticism, but I do mind is when people endlessly troll my videos just because they have a huge issue with theists, or they have a huge problem with people they disagree with in general. They aren't looking to legitimately criticize people. What they're looking to do is just simply tell people they're wrong just because they have an inherent problem with certain people's beliefs and views. Now, as I said, I'm going to screen share here and show exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you an example of what criticism is. And I think Haley here in the comment section has it correct. She says, the way I see it, there's constructive criticism and destructive criticism. Constructive criticism offers genuine feedback on how something or someone can improve. Destructive criticism just insults the thing or person without offering any helpful feedback. And I think she's 100% spot on. Okay, so let me start this screen share here. Okay. I'm going to point you to a video that gave me helpful constructive criticism. And I remember exactly what video it was. So I'm going to go to my channel here. All right. It was an old video I did on Jacqueline Glenn. I'm just going to scroll down and find it. Here we go. And I remember who it was I was talking to. Here we go, right here. Nice gentleman right here. He says, "Hi, Antonio. Thanks for your time and effort into making this video. Some constructive criticism. It is very difficult to understand what you're saying. How are you recording your audio?" And I told him, "Thanks. I know that that in the description. I use Camtasia Studio to record my voice. I recorded this video in the library as my internet was temporarily down to stupid cable company issues, and I tried to keep my voice down. At first, I didn't think it would be an issue as I have a very sensitive microphone, but I was incorrect. Thanks for the comment." He says, "I see, that's understandable. Could I suggest an alternative if you find yourself in a similar situation again? You can record your audio on your smartphone with any basic hands-free headset. Just clip in, just clip the inline mic to your shirt collar and speak normally. The built-in noise canceling will do its magic and you won't get the hissing with your S and T sounds. And of course you can do this anywhere instead of being in a library and then transfer the audio file to your computer later." And I said, "That's helpful and noted. Thanks again." Now that is criticism, truly constructive criticism. So on the other hand, what exactly isn't constructive criticism? Here's what is not constructive criticism. Now let's go to another video I had recently. Here we go. It was my "Atheism is not a lack of belief" video. Now, I've been observing certain people who's commented on my videos, and the only reason why I'm spotlighting such individuals is to make a point. Now, this dude right here, this Matthew Hall fellow, I've seen this man comment on my videos from time to time. And he always talks about on how I'm making no sense. I don't have any clue about logic. Um, Basically, just attacking me. And look at his demeanor and how he's conveying his point. That's fine that you don't think I understand basic logic or you have an issue, but it's the way you carry yourself. And he had done this on many videos in the past. And it was just certain people who was just getting on here just trolling. And one guy just blocked. And JD Cannon is blocked for what? I guess he's responding to someone saying, "You're just being honest. If Antonio Fletcher is to be consistent, he should block everyone who participates in or watches Talking Nest Tuesday. It's a long list." JD King, why the heck are you even watching my video? Honestly, I really watch your stuff, to be honest. I might watch every long once in a while, maybe just to see if my name came up in something. But I don't even watch your stuff because you know what? Because I don't care to watch your stuff. It seems like people like you, JD Kane, go around and borderline stalk people's channels just to look for something to complain about. Yeah, come to people's channels to find something to complain about. It's not like y'all are honestly looking to discuss these issues. Y'all are looking to badger people who have views y'all don't like. And there's the Matthew Hall guy again. You are just plainly ignorant of philosophy and logic, Antonio. I'm sorry. And blah, blah, blah. You don't understand what you're referring to. Where do I get my information from? So on and so forth. He's done this. Fellow has done this many times in the past. And I typically did not respond to him at all. I just let them alone because, you say you don't feed the trolls. And then I just told him, look, I'm not going to argue with you. I'll put it very simply for you. If you don't like my videos, don't watch them. If you wish to dialogue with me, be a man and do a hangout. Put up or get banned. Those are your only two options. And I think this Moon Pie fellow here pointed out quite nicely how these atheists act like. He says atheists are difficult people to deal with. They'd rather be insulting and call people names than have a unique discussion. And he said, if you can't accept criticism, especially when you're simply wrong, what will be the point in talking with you? You expect everyone who watches your videos to agree with you or they shouldn't watch? Now, anybody knows who actually had a long conversation with me knows that's not true. I'm going to plug in an individual who I quite often disagree with on, but have great conversations with. And I'll mention Hogtie Champ. I've had many great conversations with Hogtie Champ, despite the fact I disagree with him on many issues. But when we talk for a long period of time, we tend to cover a lot of ground, and the conversations are productive more often than not. Man, we've had our flares, everybody does, but most of the time our discussions are very productive. So when someone like, and I consider Hawtai a very intelligent individual, when someone like him gives criticism, I believe he truly means it. And it's truly about criticism, not about just badgering people for the sake of badgering folks. This isn't criticism. Come into my videos. You never want to enter a hangout with me to engage me. You just want to leave comments on my videos and just talk bad about me. And this other cat who I just don't pay attention to, I just let these people just comment because you can't feed trolls. And he says you can't take some criticism. You're here to preach your views, not learn a single thing. That has nothing to do with me preaching my views. As I quite clearly just pointed out, there's a difference between those who truly want to have a good conversation and those who just want to badger folks. G-Man says he's watching. Hey, what's up, G-Man? Good to see you, man. If you would like an invite into the room to chat about this for a bit, I'll invite you in. I'm not gonna put out a public link. I'll just invite you from within this hangout. So if you want to come in, just comment and let me know. But yeah, this isn't criticism, or at the very least, as Haley wisely put it, it's at worst destructive criticism. Okay, that's cool. That's all good, G. But anyway, this is nonsense. I showed y'all gentlemen who did offer some constructive criticism on how to improve my videos and how to improve my audio quality. That's not a problem. What is a problem is when you leave comments just for clearly insulting and attacking at the individual. If you think someone is wrong on things and they constantly get things wrong, you can be like, look, I just think you get things wrong a lot. And I think you can improve this way. And it would be, and I would find it great if you would do a hangout with me and maybe we could talk about this. Like, I just think you just get stuff wrong over and over again. But there's ways you can improve, and there's a way to go about doing these things. What you don't, or I should say, how you don't go about it is you don't just say, you don't know what the F you're talking about. You always get things wrong. You are just clueless. And it's like they have a personal problem. It's not them merely offering criticism. They're literally having an axe to grind with you when they make their points. It's a personal problem to them. It's not even criticism. I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. I got to screen share this again. I mean, just look at this. Look at how this man presents himself. He was just plain ignorant of philosophy and logic, and blah, 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 blah. I had to edit this because your statements are wrong again. You're also misinformed about atheism and agnosticism. Really, Antonio, study these things before getting on the mic and making a fool of yourself. Now, at this point, you're just attacking people. You're not offering criticism. Where are your hangouts, Matthew Hall? Where are your videos? Where are you entering into these hangouts to talk to other people like adults, like human beings? This is just nonsense. This isn't criticism. You know how these people who look at your stuff like to constantly troll and try to twist everything? This is what these people are doing. I ain't concerned about any atheist giving me criticism. In the many discussions I've had here on G Plus, criticism is not something that even remotely makes me upset. Not even close. This isn't criticism. And the thing is, if there was a theist talking this exact way on an atheist channel, then it would be looked at as that theist is trolling. It would be looked at as that theist is just being like a jerk. That's how it would be looked at as. You can't have a theist talking this way. I mean, the exact way and the exact demeanor, disposition as this atheist right here, or this non-believer, or whoever he is, or however he describes himself. If it were the other way around, you'd have a ton of attacks from atheists saying how much that person's a jerk, how much that person can express their views just without being just a total bad person. And no doubt, a theist talking that way would get shut down quick. But these atheists, what they like to do is they like to borderline stalk people's pages that they don't like and show how much they have a problem with them. I don't go to people like JD Kane's channel and purposely look to get ticked off because I think he's incorrect about something, and then go on this endless journey to attack this man in almost every video or every other video he puts up. I don't go about my business that way. Because if I think you are saying things that are incorrect, I'm not going to leave a comment on your video. And I'll just be like, well, maybe at some point I'll do a hangout with you and talk about it. And we could talk about like mature adults, mature individuals. And we can have a very productive exchange and we can hash these things out. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to borderline stalk your videos, say, you got this wrong again. Oh, you got this wrong again. Come back to your video and you just so stupid. You never get anything. And they continue to come back to your videos day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, just to see what this person that they don't think is logical or makes any sense or is intelligible is gonna say. What they're doing is they're looking for a reason to get upset. They're like, oh, this moron has another video up. Let's see how stupid he's gonna sound today, and I'm gonna tell him how stupid he sounds. They purposely look for a reason to get offended about something, to get ticked off, and attack people. These people are not looking to have a good conversation, a constructive conversation. They're not looking to do anything productive. They're just looking to mindlessly attack and tell people that they're wrong. That's it. When you just only tell people that they're wrong, and that's the extent of the exchange on your end, that's not constructive criticism. You're just wrong. You're just stupid. You just no. That's not. If that's only what you want to do, that is not legit constructive criticism. Now, now, if I were to go on an atheist channel and do the exact same thing, I would be looked at as a troll. I would be looked at as someone who is not looking to add anything productive to the conversation. I would just be someone who's just relentlessly attacking rather than ask, well, why do you think this way? Well, why are you going about it this way? See, those who are asking legitimately about things that you are saying, and people who are legitimately about true criticism, they ask why. And that's the distinction. What they want to do is ask why and investigate why. They say, well, this person gets things gets things wrong a lot quite often. So I would like to know why, and can we talk about this? These people here don't look at why. They just look at one thing. They're probably atheists who hate theists, and they talk at them. They talk down about them instead of talking to them. They're not asking why. They're not looking for a mature exchange and getting into these issues. These people don't care about legit exchange, which I can appreciate that you like to watch me. You are paying attention to me. I'm not paying attention to you because apparently you ain't got nothing good to say. You ain't got nothing worthy of talking about. You are not worthy of my time. The fact that you watching me, I'm not watching you. That just shows and speaks to me that I have, or rather, that you have me on your mind. I am so consumed on your mind that you take the time out of your day consistently, day in and day out, to leave these clearly hateful comments on on my videos and maybe on others' videos who you have a problem with. It is an old rule, an old shiny rule that I'm noticing that a lot of atheists don't seem to follow very well. And and I say a lot, at least in my personal experience, I've seen the more atheists do this than not. Not all atheists act like this. As I said, I pointed out Hog Tai Champ, who I believe is a mature individual, and we have good conversations most of the time. So not all atheists act this way. But the overwhelming majority of atheists, in my experience, do act this way. They borderline stalk people's pages and are so consumed with believers or those who or other people who disagree with them on their mind to thumbs down their videos, to badger them, and it's just sad. It's just embarrassing. And I think Tetrahedron in the comments put it wisely and said it perfectly. He says most of the people are inadequate in their own lives, so they come to Google Hangouts to get a power boost by putting people down. That's absolutely right. So we have several people in the comments. We have G-Man, we have Haley, Tetrahedron, and Brother Tommy Hall. It's good to see all you people. Good to see all you cats. I don't get it. Well, you know what? I do get it. It's just terrible to me that these people get their kicks by doing this. They get their kicks by not really wanting to have a conversation, because I asked this dude on more than one occasion to come into a hangout meeting, let's have a conversation. And he never does. He said, well, you're not capable of having a conversation. You're just a dumb fool who don't ever listen to anything. Well, here's the thing. How are you going to expect anyone to see what you're saying, to maybe possibly consider if you have a point, if you don't even want to talk to them? You want to attack, but you don't want to have a conversation with them. You want to attack all day, and then when that person tries to open up dialogue to you, you give yourself an excuse to shut it off, just so you can continue on attack mode. And G-Man is right. He says they just love to attack anyone who disagrees with them. And he says we deists are supposed to be stupid, which in reality is quite the opposite. That's right. Now, I will say there's idiotic people on both sides of the paradigm, both sides of the great debate. There's definitely idiots on both sides, morons on both sides. So if there are any believers out there, theists out there who are acting like this, then you are equally as problematic. You are not free from this video, this criticism of your actions. You are just as equally guilty if you are a believer, a theist, and is doing this same crap. And there's some other comments here says they insult others because they are lacking and need to feel better about themselves. And that's right. I agree. Brother Tommy Hall, Brother G-Man says they suffer from low self-esteem. Absolutely. These people have low self-esteem. Okay, Haley says, Dragnet on our forum last night requested a live voice chat debate with us on the abortion issue. I mean, we can do it anytime, whenever he's free. I'm free most evenings. Right now, I'm on my break. That's why I'm able to do this right now. I have an hour-long break, and I just thought I'd take the time to do this video. So, yeah, this is me just putting this out there. Like, these people who look to purposely be upset because the problem is misery loves company. Either you want to stay in the midst of misery by constantly attacking people you disagree with, and you will associate yourselves with others who are just as miserable as you are. And G Man says they put us down and lied to build themselves up. Absolutely. Not one time have anyone caught me said, or will anyone ever catch me say, that I'm not willing to have a mature dialogue with someone who disagrees with me. Not once did I ever say anyone had to agree with me. Not once have I said that. Not once have I said people couldn't offer constructive criticism. In fact, I say that in most of my videos, especially the content as I've been putting up late. I would say if you like this video, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And of course, if you didn't like the video, just leave some constructive criticism. What I pointed out here, that's not constructive criticism. That's just outright badgering people that you don't like. You are making it a personal problem. You are not making it an issue about dialogue. You are not making it an issue about the legit exchange of ideas, about legitimate discourse. You're making it about mindless attacking of those that you have a personal problem with, usually atheists who have a problem with theists. And G Man rightly points out, he says, criticism is good if it's meant to make others look better, not to make someone look stupid. And that's spot on. Now, if I were to actually try to entertain this person in the comment section, all that would happen from it is I'll get this endless stream of text exchanges, and this person would just be on this endless response exchange in the text saying, oh, you got it wrong again, you're stupid. Like, I just told you this. And then you'll respond to them saying why they're not making any sense. And then they'll leave a comment and be like, this is why I can't take you seriously. Here's the thing. You don't take me seriously. Clearly, you clearly have a problem with me. You clearly think I'm not somebody who is worth watching, yet you watch me. And you twist the issue into saying, well, you are watching me because you are a voice of dissent. And why isn't it not good to have a voice of dissent? You aren't merely being a dissenting voice. There's a difference between being a dissenting voice and being an antagonistic voice. Dissent does not equate to antagonistic. I shouldn't even have to even do a video like this to make this clear. But some people need things explained to them. Some people need things illustrated to them because they have their own personal ideas. They are already inflated in their own egos with what they think, and they can't look past their own nose. They can't see the other person as they would like to be looked at themselves as. The Bible says, do unto others as you would like done unto yourself. Do for others as you would want done for yourself. So if you want to be looked at as a decent individual, if you want to be treated as a decent individual, then you treat people as decent individuals, as you would want done for you. Now, if you're just a sad person who wants to be talked at, argued at, attacked, if you want to attack other people and you want that done for you, then you need to seriously get some help. Get some mental help because you have some serious mental issues that you got to get worked out. I think Mr. Crust is also correct. He says correction does not equal dissent. That's a fair point. That's actually right. So while you can correct somebody and be on the legit end of dissent, you can still correct somebody and not necessarily dissent. That's a great point. I think that's a distinction worth pointing out. I think these people would do themselves much better to leave comments like this. This is constructive criticism. This is an exchange right here. I like what I'm seeing right here. This is how good conversations get started. This is how stuff gets done in a very, very productive way. This is how people learn and refine themselves. I can appreciate comments like that. What I don't appreciate is the comments to where they're clearly attacking at you rather than truly being concerned about making your arguments better or maybe even making their arguments better because they may have certain arguments that they need to refine on to make better. It's these sorts of people who talk at folks as if they don't think there's any possibility they can be corrected, as if they seem to think there's no possibility that they're incorrect, that they're wrong. The people who like to attack at others tend to, as I said, they can't see past their own nose. They don't seem to think that they could be wrong or that they are ever wrong. So it just goes into this egotistical, arrogant, and just flat out just bad attack mode, just bad attack demeanor. If this is what you have to do to get yourself through the day, now I feel sad for you. I truly feel pity for you. What is criticism? Criticism is when you have a legit issue with what someone says, and it ain't even that necessarily got to be an issue, but um, just a certain thing, what someone says or does, and you offer points to consider for that person to make their content better. What is flat out just attacking what that guy did, what that Matthew Hall did, and what that other dude who I can't even pronounce his name. He starts with an O. You looked clear. He looked clearly at that dude's comment and said it's criticism if you can't take criticism. Like, here's the problem with with many of these atheists. And again, this is not all atheists, but just a lot of atheists I've come across in my personal experience. They all want you to basically allow them to attack you endlessly and mindlessly. And if you don't allow them to let you attack them, then you aren't about criticism. You are just about just wanting to hear your voice and stand on your soapbox. You don't care about hearing ideas other than your own. It's again goes back to this twisting. It's endless spinning and twisting. They spin and twist more than a ballet doing a pirouette. If you're gonna come to someone's channel all the time, you should at least have something better to contribute than that nonsense. So says, "What's the current topic?" Well, brother, the current topic is what is criticism? What is the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism, as Haley wisely pointed out in the text chat? My channel is slightly growing, but it's still relatively small. It's small enough to where I can keep tabs on the comments in a much more practical way. Now, once my channel gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it'll be a bit more difficult to keep tabs on the comments because they'll be numbering in the thousands rather than in just the single digits or the tens. once the comments start going into the hundreds and thousands on every video, it'll be a bit more difficult to look at. So basically, right now, I can better see people who are the ones who are legitimately looking at the content and those who are just attacking. Oh, I intend to get this channel that large, Haley. I intend to keep working and build my channel. The sky's the limit. But it's going to get to a point to where I won't be able to monitor it as easily because no one can practically monitor hundreds and thousands of comments on every video all the time. But right now, I can practically see who is interested in my stuff and who isn't. But what is criticism? That's a good question to ask. I think what's also just as much an important question is what is not criticism, or rather, what is not constructive criticism. And the examples I gave earlier was clearly not constructive criticism. Like I said, you got people that just like to attack just for the sake of attacking. And they like to spin everything. And if you don't let them endlessly attack you, then you just don't want to have criticism. You just don't want to listen. You just don't want to learn. Confusing, badgering people for criticism. That makes no sense. Multiple personality says, is this about his video? Now, I don't know what video you're referring to, multiple. I didn't see it, so it's definitely not about that. But I'm actually glad you're here, multiple, because in the conversations we've had, that's been a legit exchange of ideas, and we will offer our criticisms to one another. And we usually have great conversations. Multiple personality is another example of somebody that I can generally disagree with on certain topics, but we still end up having great conversations. He offers constructive criticism. This Matthew Hall dude and that other dude that I couldn't pronounce, that's not constructive criticism. That's just you looking for a reason to get offended. You looking for a reason to get upset. Because there's something inadequate internally with you to deal with the fact that you are a person of low self-esteem. You intentionally put yourself in a situation to where you have a problem personally with somebody and attack them endlessly. I have a lot of problems with things JD Kane says, but I'm not going to go on this video and mindlessly entertain things that I think doesn't make sense. I just say, you know what? He just gets it wrong a lot, but I'm gonna go about my day. I don't care. It's not even worth my time. If I get him in a hangout at some point, then I'll talk to him about that. But I'll be like, well, I'm gonna come back to your videos and once again express how much of a fool you are. Because it doesn't matter to me. If you don't like, if I don't like his stuff, then don't watch it. If it bothers me consistently that much, then don't watch it. You're not offering criticism, or at least not constructive criticism anyway. You're looking for a reason to be upset. In some sort of sick way, individuals like this enjoy misery. In some sick way, people like this like to remain in the state of bitterness and contempt. I've noticed people like this in my lifetime on some sick level. They enjoy being in sort of a depressed like state, a bitter like state. People like that don't want to have anything to be happy about. And it's interesting how deep such things truly really go to the level of um, insecurity. Maybe they aren't happy in their own personal lives. Maybe they maybe they've burned like bridges with everyone in their lives, and they've gotten to the point to where their only sort of release is attacking other people. For whatever reason, they're at a state of inadequacy in their lives. And to deal with that inadequacy, they go and attack others. It's sort of their escape from dealing with what's the real problem themselves. Because if it's easier for you to constantly attack other people, and if it's easier for you to constantly focus your internal issues elsewhere, focus your internal issues outward elsewhere, then you don't have to deal with the issue. You don't have to deal with what's going on with you. You don't have to deal with the real problem, and that is yourself. It goes back to the concept of personal responsibility. These are the type of people that like to point fingers elsewhere. I've got to go, Antonio, but I'll check back later. Thanks for coming by, Haley. It's always a pleasure to see you. These people like to point the finger elsewhere. They don't like to look at internally and consider that, well, maybe it's a problem with me. Maybe it's something I have to build on. There's no possibility that they could be mistaken or they could be incorrect or they can improve. It's always the fact that others are wrong and they got to attack, attack, attack. They express that particular disposition about themselves as if they're saying or implying rather that there is no possibility they can be the one who's mistaken. There's no possibility they can be the one who's wrong. So because they don't even like to consider that possibility, they internalize their lack of considering the possibility of the contrary as just a way to attack other people. They internalize that and presuppose necessarily all the time that, oh, look at this moron, look at this dude talking stupid again. It's like they internalize and presuppose that there's no chance I can be wrong. So anything which does not fit in what they've already internalized and what they've already presupposed, it's just them keeping blinders on. They've already internalized and presupposed that there's no possibility they could be incorrect. And that makes them immune to criticism themselves. They like to pretend like they offering criticism, but when you offer counter criticism and say, okay, I can maybe see your point here, but I think I can offer some counter criticism on my own, then they have no answer to that. They have no sound exchange to that. They just continue to go on this attack, and everything they say is criticism, but everything you say is just full of stupidity. Yes, and I will check out that video multiple. I appreciate the reference, and I'll check it out. But I don't want to keep going on and on about this. I've talked about this long enough. So, people, if you're watching this, just think about the things that I've said and about the excellent points that I've read here in the chat that people had brought up. As Haley rightly pointed out, it goes back to the issue of constructive versus deconstructive criticism. Seriously think on that issue, folks, before you look at another video and leave a comment. So thanks for watching, everybody. That's it. Take care. God bless and peace.